Hello and welcome back to episode 22 of the Career Advice You Never Had podcast, where I provide you the career advice, education and support you missed out on in your career journey. I'm your host Angela, and in today's episode we'll be going through the Reflect and Prepare workshop together. So grab yourself a notebook, pen, a glass of water, and also get comfortable as we'll spend around about the next 30 minutes together. And remember that you can hit pause at any moment if you need more time to reflect. And if you're a bit more of a visual person, you can head over to YouTube and you can see the slides as I go through them. Thank you for listening today. I love hearing your stories and experiences about each episode. So let me know how you go. Now let's get into it. Today is an interactive workshop that we will be connecting to the present moment. You get to reflect on 2025, take stock of where you are now, and set a one-word intention for the year ahead, 2026. And you're definitely going to prepare for the journey. And we will begin with a mindfulness activity. We're going to jump into some box breathing in a moment. And this is going to give you a chance to ground yourself, turn inward so that the rest of the session can really flow. And before we jump in, I would like you to take a mental note of how you're feeling now. So as you're settling into the space that you're in, take that internal picture. As you get really comfortable, even if you're seated, if you're standing, or even if you are listening to this as you're driving or walking, make sure you do this with the awareness that you need as you focus on your breath. As you follow that breath in and out, notice what happens to the rib cage as it widens with each breath and also contracts. Feel the tummy rise and fall with each breath. As you send all the breath down to your pelvis as your tummy fills up like a balloon. And can you let it go? And we're now going to begin with some box breathing. If you haven't done it before, I'm going to walk you through it and then let you have a go. So box breathing, you're going to imagine that you are tracing a box. We're going to breathe in for 4, we're going to hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and then hold for another 4. So we'll walk it through together as we breathe in 2, 3, 4, and hold 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 2, 3, 4, and hold 2, 3, 4. Again in 2, 3, 4. Hold. Breathe out and hold. In and hold. Breathe out and hold. One more round. And as you finish off that last box breathing, just allow your breath to come back to its natural rhythm as you begin to notice what's happening within your mind, within your body, as you come back to the space around you. You may even like to jot anything down in your journal about how you're feeling at the beginning and what the box breathing was allowing you to move into. Remember, you can hit pause at any moment within this session. That's the power of popping it onto Spotify or YouTube. You can be in control of the time that you spend on each of the questions. And you might like to listen to it through once or listen to it through a few times. And you may be doing this at the end of the year or the beginning of the year. It's up to you when you need this. So let's get into it. The year that was. We've got a few questions that I'm going to take you through to really reflect on 2025. So yes, we are going to go back through. And can you remember at the beginning of 2025 what your intentions were? Did you set any intentions? Were there any goals that you had in mind? Or you may be someone who sets New Year's resolutions. Back in 2025, I wonder what were your intentions? And we're going to know what went well for you in 2025. Really interesting to see what's going to pop into your mind to begin with about what went well in 2025. And did you accomplish something or many things, big or small, in 2025? Were there things that you did tick off? Maybe you took steps forward with something that was really important to you. So what did you accomplish in 2025? And as we cast our mind back, you may have gone through some challenges in 2025. I wonder what challenges pop into your mind. Note them down. What was your biggest challenge out of all the challenges that you faced? What would you say was your biggest? And was there anything that surprised you the most about these challenges? So we're being really curious around your achievements, what went well, and also your challenges. And we're going to take it a little bit deeper. If you know me, I really, really enjoy talking about change and transition and making sense of it. And we're going to highlight a specific type of change that you went through. It could have been a positive change, or it could have been a negative. Choose one that makes sense to you to go a little bit deeper in. How would you describe the change that you went through? There's a few different types of change that I'll take you through, and choose the one that resonates the most with the change that you've brought to mind. And noting that change is the situation, that external event, the moment in life where things changed. Was it expected? So something that you anticipated, predicted, and that did happen. Maybe it was a graduation, you finished something off. Maybe you had that birthday that you knew was coming. Was it something unexpected that was not predicted, very unplanned? Maybe you got some news. Maybe you got a promotion, a health diagnosis. Maybe there was a loss. And remember, they can be seen as positive or negative. We've also got non-events where something didn't happen that you thought would. Maybe you didn't get the job. Maybe things didn't go to plan as you hoped, that you didn't get the promotion, or that things didn't follow through how you expected. And maybe something didn't get better despite all your best efforts. Slow burning, where you see change on the horizon. You know it's coming. That could be something like retirement or a holiday. You've also got secondary or ripple effect, where someone close to you has gone through change and you feel it too. We've also got counter changes. When it rains, it pours, and you may have gone through lots of different changes where one change set off another and set off another, or maybe something's been delayed and what you're anticipating will still happen, but it's been held off or something has delayed it. And knowing that change is that external event that we can sometimes put words easily to describe, the transition that is set off by this change can sometimes be a little bit harder to describe. This is the emotional journey where we move in, we move through, and we move out. So I wonder, in terms of the change that you've just described, I wonder, where are you in the transition? Are you still moving in and finding that you're coming to lots of endings? You're saying the long goodbye to that life that you once knew. Maybe you're moving through and it's in that messy middle bit with lots of uncertainty. Or maybe you're moving out and things are feeling a little bit more settled as you move into your new beginning and reinvent yourself. Noting also what you gravitated to first. The stage that you naturally gravitate to first is really easy for you, and that's where you probably find your strengths. And then where you may be avoiding could be really hard with one of these stages in the transition. So just note where you're at now and maybe if there's any resistance with any of these stages. And yes, transitions can stir up a lot of emotions, as we know that it's the emotional journey. So let's acknowledge and name the emotions that you're feeling at the moment, and maybe even track the ones that you've also felt as well as you name them and move through them. We can feel a lot of emotions at the same time. You could be feeling excited, but a little bit overwhelmed. You could be feeling motivated and proud, but also a bit exhausted. So pay attention. I've got on the screen, if you are watching, lots of different types of emotion, and just see if anything does stick out to you. Sometimes we may be trying to find the words as we're processing the emotions, and maybe an analogy or a metaphor might pop up. Maybe there's words that you've been trying to find around, you feel like a fish out of water, or you're feeling high as a kite, or that you're starting from scratch, or that you're way over your head. These words give you clues about what you need at this time as you move through those stages. And it's really normal to be feeling a range of emotions, and pinpointing them can help you move through. So what we have here is the Kubler-Ross cycle of change and a transition is another way to show you the ups and downs that we may be experiencing. And the visual, if you're watching on YouTube, can sometimes help make sense of the emotional journey that you may be going through, from denial, shock, anger, bargaining, depression, understanding, to acceptance. Or sometimes we skip over certain stages, and knowing that this is a normal cycle of change that you could be going through, and then it's going to be unique for you, can help you, as I keep saying, make sense of your situation. Finishing off the year that was, knowing that you've been through things that have gone well, challenges, change. I wonder, how have your experiences shaped your year? And you might like to track them. There may be a particular shape coming to mind. There may have been someone that has really supported you through this last year, and it's a good time to bring them to mind. Who's been your biggest support? Has it been someone in your close circle of family and friends, or has it been more external, colleagues, or even support services? So just bring to mind who has been your biggest support. And what is your biggest lesson learnt for 2025? Let's note these down. As we land where you are now, so making sure that before we make any decisions about the future and set the one-word intention, it's really important to take stock and understand where you are now. And if you've been with me before, these are the 4 areas that we're going to unpack in your life and identify what the area means to you. And we're also going to give each one a rating. And the areas are around wellness, career, love, and play. And the rating is 0 to be not so good in this particular area, and 10 can be amazing. So when you think of the 4 different areas, and for each of us, they're going to bring up different people or experiences or images or feelings. So go with what love means to you at the moment. And where do you feel like you sit from 0 to 10? You've also got wellness. What does wellness mean to you? What words come to mind, images, feelings? And rate it from 0 to 10. You've also got your career. What does that mean to you at this time? And rate it from 0 to 10. And what does play mean to you? What does it look like and feel like? And let's rate that from 0 to 10. So now that you've got your ratings, it's time to get a bit curious and look over the numbers. Do they feel right? Do they look right? Which area has the lowest number? Which area has the highest? And knowing that we would love to focus on each area and bring them all up, I wonder maybe there's one particular area that you want to be your focus for 2026 or even the start of it to start closing the gap between where you are now and where you'd like to be. I really love this statement. I'm at a time in my life when, as we're checking in, it's also good to know what kind of stage you're at or season that you are in life. This drills down to what's really important to you and where are your priorities for 2026 based on that time in your life. And we're going to just make sure that you are at the center of your career and life, that you're the only one who can make sense of your situation and begin to make any changes, whether that's building career management skills, personal development skills, and what it is that you need along that journey. That sometimes in the past, we may have been placing someone or something at the center for a really good reason. Maybe it was your family, maybe it was your job, a friend going through something, health, maybe something like pain's been demanding your attention. Let's begin to separate you from all those external experiences, that you're not your job, you're not your situation, you are you, the person at the very core. And let's place you at the very center. Is there a way that you might like to start describing yourself? And answering these questions can get you to really think about, what's important to me? What do I enjoy? What am I good at? What do I want? And it places you back at the center. Now that we have looked at the past year in 2025, that you've really grounded yourself in who you are now. And we're now going to set an intention or begin to set an intention for 2026. There's a few steps I'm going to take you through. And if you haven't done intention setting with me before, an intention is an inward approach that really guides you in the present moment. It gives you direction. It's about how you want to be, live, and feel each day, and how you want to show up in the world. It can motivate you internally and centers you on the process and the journey. Goals are the external, outward-driven outcomes, the actions that we take each day, the habits that we create, our behavior, which allows opportunities to be drawn in or that we can come across based on our intentions. The intention really opens you up to the possibilities that are waiting for you. So let's set an intention that will really ground you in how you want to show up each day and the energy that you want to bring to each moment. So we're going to get curious again. We're going to be doing a mind map around 2026, and this is the beginning of it. So let's just bring to mind 2026 about how you want to show up, what kind of person that you want to be. You might like to take this moment. Can you see the kind of person that you want to be? Can you feel what you'd like 2026 to be? Is there a taste? Is there a smell coming to mind? Can you hear particular words, a song or a phrase or a quote that can capture the energy of 2026? And to do mind mapping, we're going to find a new page in your notebook. And at the center of the page, pop in 2026 and put it in a circle. And a mind map means that you draw arrows or lines coming from the center circle, and you're going to start jotting down the words or the phrases that came to mind when you thought about 2026. Let them flow, and then if you create a particular word and then need to extend that with arrows and lines, make sure you press pause if you do need a little bit of time. Okay, so hopefully you've got everything down on the mind map. You might like to step away from it for a moment or just take a sip of water and then come back to the mind map. Give yourself a little bit of space so that you can begin to notice something, as you have a look at the words or the way that you've drawn your mind map, is there a particular word standing out? Maybe there's one word that really captures the essence of 2026. And when we do set our one word intention, we do want it to be a noun or a verb. So is anything really standing out? What you may see if you're watching is a whole lot of words that I've got on the screen, just to give you that starting point, that if you're going, oh, what's a word to describe this particular phrase that's coming up, or you might like to know what these two words mean. Feel free to also do a bit of a Google search around what word, how would you describe the theme that you'd like to take into 2026? Is it consistency or balance or purpose or ambition, love, acceptance, focus, progress, freedom, possibilities, honesty? These are just some of the ones that hopefully we just get you thinking around, how would I like to describe 2026? And once you've got one particular word, or maybe you're tossing up between two, which one really stands out? What does the word mean to you? How does the word feel if I try it on and think about my one word intention and creating alignment between all the areas of my life? Does this word capture that feeling and the way that I'd like to show up? Once you do have your one word intention, we're going to put it into a sentence. And this is something that you might like to keep your one word intention somewhere handy, and also this sentence somewhere visual for you to see. For this example, the word that is sticking with me and that really stood out is the word consistency and being consistent. So I'm going to put it into a sentence for you. My intention for 2026 is to be consistent. We then add in a so that. So this really taps into, well, why would that be really important for you to have that word as your intention? And for me, so that I continue to take the steps forward and create new habits to continue to follow through with the things that are important to me in 2026. And good on you for putting down your intention. You've got your word that you're going to try on, and you've got your so that, understanding why is it important to me? Now that we've got our intention, let's tap into goals, dreams, vision, whatever you like to call it. Maybe you like to call it plans for the future. Maybe aspirations. There's lots of different ways that we can describe the bigger picture. And I've got on the screen these ledgers. I always like showing this picture because when we set out for something, whether it's setting an intention and then creating a goal, there's always going to be a gap between where we are now and where we'd like to be. So when we think about our big dreams, maybe that gap is quite wide because it's something that we're planning for in 12 months, 5 years, or 10 years' time. Do you have a big dream? Have you given yourself the permission to create that vision for the future and to wonder what is possible? And knowing when we do tap into our big dream, what is motivating me? When we understand a bit more about our motivations, whether they're internal, whether that's a sense or a feeling that you'd like to come from this goal, or simply to feel joy or contentment and the satisfaction that this goal may bring. Maybe it's a bit more external, that it's something more tangible or a reward. There's no right or wrong. Knowing what's motivating you can help you stay on the journey. When it comes to goals and looking to that bigger picture, but also coming back to what can I do today and tomorrow, it's good to know where you are in relation to that particular dream or goal. Is it something that you've only set recently? So are you at the start? Have you taken steps towards it? Are you more in the middle? Or are you heading towards the end and you're almost there? Knowing where you are in relation to that and tapping into that motivation can sometimes help us make sense of what we need and how we can break down those big goals or big dreams into things that we can do today and tomorrow. Because we do want to make it more manageable. Dan John has the 5 2s model of goal achievement. Sometimes we need to have that really big end goal in sight, working back from 20 years from now and looking at those short-term goals and what you'd like to achieve for next year. We're going to break down into those really manageable and tangible actions that you can take in the next couple of slides. And I purposely have these 2 feet on this particular slide because now it's about actions, that we're getting closer to the end of the workshop and it's time to think through your next steps. So yes, today and tomorrow are going to be your action steps. What are those small steps? When we think of the gap between where you are now and where you'd like to be, taking small, consistent steps is what will get you there. Different ways that we can find the information and the kind of behaviors that we need to take those steps forward. When you think of the particular area in your life that you may like to work towards and focus on, maybe there's a big goal or dream or that vision for the future that you'd like to be your focus. Is there something that you want to observe, visit, listen, talk to, write, read, Google, ChatGPT? Or is there something that you'd like to do if you think about taking one small step today or tomorrow to help you fill that gap? When you start thinking about taking steps forward, it's very natural for a part of us to protest. And the reality is we're going to hit some obstacles, things that will get in our way as we travel on those highs and lows of 2026. Let's start predicting. What are the things that you think will get in the way, and let's prepare for them so that we can build that bridge so that you can go from where you are now to where you want to be by the end of 2026. So when you think about the things that might get in your way, what are your top 3 things that are coming to mind? When I do this workshop, most people will have something that really stands out. Maybe it's time. I don't have the time. Maybe it's the resources, the money. Or sometimes the biggest thing that can get in our way is ourselves. So what's the biggest things for you? The 3 things that might get in your way. And then we're going to find ways, strategies, and tools to counteract these obstacles. For me personally, walking and moving my body helps me understand and move through challenges. Maybe for you, it might be prayer or mindfulness, journaling, talking with a friend. I wonder, what ways can you counteract these obstacles? Strengths can definitely be a superpower as we move through our life, move through our transition, and really guide towards that success that we're looking for. And to help us understand who we are, knowing our strengths can be a way that we can move through things at our best. Strengths are what's required for us to feel engaged and successful. Strengths help us make better decisions, and they really boost our confidence. When we use our strengths, we feel good using them, and they can definitely help us along our way. And we're going to identify what are your top 3 strengths that you need for 2026. They may be different to what you needed last year. And so what I have on the screen are lots of words. Notice the ones that really stand out to you. And if you've been with me before in a workshop, I do like to, and I'm just shuffling some cards at the moment. I've got some strength cards and I'll pull 3. Feel free to take any of these that really resonate with you. What kind of strengths do you need now that you've set your intention? You're starting to set your next steps. Let's also have a look at your strengths. Okay, so the first one that I've pulled out is initiator. So sometimes we need to be the initiator to feel successful. The next one is positive. So initiator, positive, and intuitive. These are the 3 strengths that I've pulled for the workshop today. Initiator, positive, and intuitive. All right, so as we get to the last slide, we're pulling it all together and just checking in on your confidence. You've got your intention, you've got your next steps, you've got your counteracting of obstacles, your tools in your toolkit that if you hit any of those obstacles, you know what to do. And now we're just going to make sure that you feel good around the next steps that you have set. So your next step, you may have thought about something that you want to take forward over the today or tomorrow that are going to be your next steps. We're going to put it in an I will statement. And for me, connecting into my intention about consistency, I will be writing my to-do list each night before I go to bed so that my unconscious mind can sort out all the details while I sleep. I've been reading about the power of this recently. How are you going to turn your next step into an I will statement? Make sure you've got a little bit of detail. And if you like, you can take that a little bit further with the so what can sometimes give you that motivation that you need. Why would I want to do this next step? Understanding how important it is to you to complete that step. Yeah, how important is your next step for you out of 10? And hopefully it's sitting at about an 8, because that's going to be more motivating for you if you're already connected to how important it is. If it's not up that high, maybe you need to set a different next step, one that does motivate you, and make it really simple so that you know that you can achieve it as well. How confident are you that you can successfully achieve this next step? This is also making sure that you do have a realistic and doable next step that you've set for yourself. How confident out of 10 are you that you can achieve the next step? You do want to sit at a 7 or above. So if you're not sitting there, break the next step down even further. Make it really doable. Because this last line about celebrating when you achieve the small wins, when you can tick things off your list, when you know that you've achieved them, we get that sense of, first of all, we get the dopamine hit, but we get that sense of success. That's what can help us and motivate us to keep moving forward, collecting those small wins. Okay, so we have hit the end of the session. Thank you for staying around for this. I'd love for you to take this moment to compare how you're feeling now than when you were at the beginning. Note down what resonated with you, what's come up through this session. And I really truly hope that you found this workshop helpful, and I'd love to hear your reflections. And remember to share this episode with those who are looking for some career and life inspiration. There are many people who haven't had the career advice, education and support they needed along their career journey, and I'm here to provide it. And yes, I'll be back for another season in 2026, so be sure to subscribe to this podcast, to my mailing list on my website to be kept updated with the latest episodes. And once again, thank you for listening. Your support is amazing and you are amazing. Together we'll navigate this journey as you find your way, rediscover yourself and focus on taking the next meaningful step in your career.